he just smeared melted candies on bread and became a billionaire. The history of Nutella and Ferrero. Jokingly referred to as the heavenly spread, the chocolate melted spread has captured the appetite of billions across the globe. No wonder it is said that annually, the company sells enough Nutella jars to cover the ancient wall of China 8 times over. In today's video, we will look at how the famous Nutella came into existence. So watch this video till the end to find out, and do not forget to like this video. The popularity of Nutella would make Gen Z think it's just a new brand like other chocolate brands we have today. But the history of this heavenly spread dates back to the 19th century in Italy during World War II. Pietro Ferrero Sr. was born in a tiny village in Alba, Italy, to a middle-class family. Being born into a business-minded family and knowing what the consumers want made Pietro Sr. weigh his options during World War II, as armed forces and citizens treat chocolate like a heavenly meal. Just so you know, the history of chocolate dates back to the war era because it was one of the few foods armed forces could travel with without hindrance. So it's not surprising that Giovanni Ferrero Jr.'s grandfather, Pietro, started mixing cocoa with hazelnut oil molasses and cocoa butter in different shapes to sell to soldiers and others that were interested in the goodie. The innovation by Pietro isn't the Nutella we know today. It was just a candy mixed with cocoa and wrapped in wax paper. But the people still loved it, and it was a perfect fit for soldiers, as it was hard and could withstand temperature variations. When the war ended in 1949, Pietro Sr. and his brother Giovanni Sr. commercialized the business and started selling across Italy under the company name Ferrero. The business boomed almost instantly as people were used to the chocolate goodie. After some years of successful endeavors, Pietro Sr. died of a heart attack and left Giovanni Sr. in charge of the family business. Giovanni Sr., having learned from his brother, took over the ownership of the business and recorded massive success. The chocolate goodie, being made in a loaf-like shape, was changed to spreadable cream for more yumminess and also to make it affordable to all. Giovanni Sr. sold his new product in pots and jars that his customers could reuse, which helped his business reach greater heights. You will not believe what you will see next. After a few years of rebranding the chocolate, Giovanni Sr. died of a heart attack as well, and it seems the ailment is kind of genetic. Upon the death of Giovanni Sr., Pietro Sr.'s 33-year-old son, Michele, took over the ownership of the then small business and transformed it into a massive company that could qualify as a conglomerate. Michele took advantage of the remains of World War II to expand their family business. He turned abandoned Nazi missile factories into their family candy factories and started the mass production of Mon Cherie, a cherry liqueur-filled chocolate that marked the beginning of greatness for the Ferrero company. With that little innovative idea, Michele did what Hitler couldn't do. He conquered the world with his product. The Ferrero product debuted outside of Italy, and countries like Belgium, France, Ireland, and even Switzerland witnessed the greatest of the chocolate goodies. After World War II was indeed over in the 1960s, the demand for Ferrero's chocolate surged, and the company made enough sales, setting it on par with other great companies of that era. With a high demand for chocolate from all nooks and crannies of the world, Michele came up with another great idea: to make the chocolate goodie more like the Nutella we have today. And that also recorded massive success, that Michele began to produce other products like Kinder, Ferrero Rocher, and Tic Tac. During this time of great success, Michele, who knew what the genetic ailment of their family was, started grooming his son, Giovanni Jr., to take over the large family business. Michele sent Giovanni Jr. abroad, alongside his brother Pietro Jr., to a boarding school in Brussels. Now, not to mix things up, Michele named his 2 sons after his father and uncle, who were the original founders of Nutella, so the names can keep popping up in history books. Michele's sons, Giovanni Jr. and Pietro Jr., were tasked to learn about business and about Western Europe, whose market their business hasn't penetrated. Michele also revealed that sending his sons abroad was a precautionary move, as post-World War II in Italy was an eyesore. In the 1970s, Italy was embroiled in political violence and terrorism. So being a wealthy family and business owner, Michele, his sons, and the family business could be an easy target for the rogues. Michele's plan wasn't just precautionary, it was strategic as well. This is not the whole story. It is even going to get crazier. Keep watching. Fast forward to some years later, Giovanni Jr. and Pietro Jr. finished their education in Brussels. And to polish their business knowledge, they moved around the Western countries to learn about trade and marketing. After a few years of learning, the boys returned home to resume the rightful position they had been trained for. At the age of 30, Giovanni Jr. and his brother Pietro Jr. were made CEOs of the Ferrero company, and they did justice to their roles, as they recorded more success than their father due to their profound knowledge. However, after an amazing run of successful years together, Pietro died of a heart attack in South Africa when cycling on the road. The death of Pietro Jr. took a toll on Giovanni Jr., who was used to the partnership, but he had to keep the business moving. Giovanni Jr. hasn't fully recovered from the death of his brother when his father Michele also died, leaving him as the sole proprietor of the family business. Giovanni Jr. admitted that the loss of his brother and father did weigh him down, and it was tough for him and the business. But the demise of his father turned out to be a blessing in disguise for Giovanni Jr. and the Ferrero company at large. Wait a minute, this is not everything. Later in the video, we will show you how Giovanni Jr. took over the world with his business ideas. Michele Ferrero during his days was totally against buying other companies. Instead, he put all his energy into his business and kept striving, which did pay him. But Giovanni Jr., now left with the decision-making, took the bold step as he bought Thornton's a few years after his father's death. A couple of years later, Giovanni Jr. acquired Fannie Mae and Nestle, which cost him billions of dollars, with Nestle costing him a whopping $2.8 billion. While many see Giovanni Jr.'s move as a drift away from his father's path, he saw success at the end of the deal, maybe due to his business knowledge. Giovanni's gut proved him right, as he bought all the companies to take over the chocolate business worldwide. When Giovanni bought these companies, they were in decline, hence the sales. But Giovanni knew what he wanted, and he had predicted what the future held for his business. While Giovanni Jr.'s critics believe his business will soon go out of business, and that healthy snacks will take over, Giovanni Jr. kept his head high and was busy investing his time and money into the Ferrero company. And that explains why Nutella is one of the biggest chocolate brands in the world, and Giovanni Jr. himself being the richest man in Italy. Giovanni Jr.'s gamble seems to have paid off, as the once tiny business that started during World War II is now the second largest chocolate company in the world, recording an annual revenue of more than $14 billion. The company keeps growing as more people embrace Nutella as their chocolate spread of choice.